I want you to tell me the very first things that you see around you and the very first impressions that you have as you begin to understand where you are and what is happening around you.
Rock.
Can you speak up a little for me?
I'm sitting on a rock.
Okay.
Just can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's
Okay.
all good.
I'm
So
on a rock.
as you look around your surroundings, what else do you see around you?
It's beautiful. It's very high up. It's a mountain. It's a mountain and there's trees below.
There's trees
It's
below,
quiet.
is there?
Yeah, it's quiet. It's peaceful.
It's peaceful in this place, is it?
Yeah, it's peaceful and it's nice to look and
So as you look
see the
around
world.
you, do you notice the presence of anyone else?
Oh, just me.
Just you. So you're
Yeah,
just there alone.
just
And can you look
taking it
down?
in.
You're just all taking it in. Wonderful. So you can take as much time as you need to just take it all in. And what are you doing on this rock?
Concerned, but let's go up here.
What is it
I don't
that's
feel
happening?
concerned.
Pardon?
Well, I feel concerned, but I go on the rock and I just think my thoughts become clear.
Mm. Can you look down at your body and tell me what that looks like?
It's, it's human. I have feet and I have my legs are slim and normal. I have sandals on.
Okay.
I have sandals on and I have a traveling traveling clothes. Call them what is it? Robe. It's not exactly a robe. It's brown. It's simple. It has shorts and a long shirt
Mm.
and a staff and
You have a staff with you?
yeah, so a wooden staff. It's a nice piece of wood.
And
It
what
it it has a it's important to me.
and why do you say that it's important to you?
That's connection. I can feel the into the staff.
Does it have a
The
special
channels,
energy about it?
bring power from the ground,
Oh,
connection to the
mm,
elements in the ground. Strange. Yeah, it could be used to direct power and connect myself and
so you
along
use the
its.
stuff for that reason?
Yeah, yeah. The tool,
Mm,
a common tool, but it's useful.
mm. And are you masculine or feminine? How does the body feel?
Masculine, not very not so strong, somewhat neutral, but it is masculine.
You're more neutral, are you?
Masculine, but not. I don't know.
Do you
I
have
feel like
do you have long or short hair?
I have long hair.
Mm,
Nice. It's it's dark brown.
mm. And what does your face look like?
Soft, no facial hair. I don't look. It's hard to see clearly, but it
Mm,
look friendly and green eyes,
mm,
and the eyes are clear. They're pretty.
mm,
Yeah, they're kind of feminine. They're bit big, but not too big, I guess, but big.
mm. So you feel human in this body.
You know, I do feel human. Feel very, feel very alive. Feel very vibrant.
Mm,
Like
beautiful. So do you have a community where you came from?
I have a community. I have loved one. And we have the, I don't know if there's children. There is, it's a village. It's in the trees beneath this mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the trees.
So can you tell me more about this village?
Well, yeah, it's in trees. It's trees are rather big.
Mm,
The trees are very big, actually. Not they're like redwood,
mm.
and their houses are
And
actually more built into the canopy,
okay.
like a treehouse.
Mm. So you live in treehouse type of
Yeah, yeah, I
places.
do. Nice.
And
They're
what do the other beings look like in this town?
they're pretty. They're um, they're kind. They're not. Everyone appears normal height.
So
Similar
everyone's
to me.
everyone's normal
You're,
height?
Yes, and the clothes are simple. There's not the temperature is normal. It's misty in the canopy, and then the clothes are simple. They're somewhat functional for staying warm, but they're also not so much feeling the need to wear too many clothes.
Mm.
So it's kind of different.
So, what sort of clothes do you have in this place? What sort of clothes does everyone
We
wear?
we do have um, it's made out of fiber, and it's kind of like oh, it looks almost, I wouldn't call it like like simple pants made out of this brown fiber, and then different sorts of tops and short things. They're simple, but we do also have nicer clothes that we could use. We have we kind of think it's funny. We are kind of interested in experimenting more with clothing. But
So,
we don't feel the need to show off. However, we also are interested in sort of wondering what we personally like. And we don't really do that, but we want to.
so, what is your job in this village? What do you do?
I'm not I live here, but I travel. I travel often. And I travel alone generally. So I walk a lot. I tell, I communicate information from our village and other villages. And we collaborate what we need to do together through consensus. However, I am in charge of spreading a level of wisdom and trying to make new decisions for our people. So I am a news person, you could say, but I also analyze and help make decisions, which we all come to together. It is hard to explain,
Do
but
you like a messenger, are you?
I am a messenger.
Mm.
I observe and I help bring information to people from the observations, and then they help make decisions based on those observations.
What kind of messages are you delivering to people?
We need to, we are people, we are deciding how to create a cultural, we are exploring how to become more integrated as a culture. as a people. We have built connections across long distances, and we are now one cohesive unit of people. And so we have a role which I play in creating a sort of unity between people.
And so, what do the people from the other villages, what are they like? Are the villages different?
They are different. They are some are they're very similar in most respects. Some are more not all are in trees. Some There are people who live all over. There are people who live in the mountains and they live in like that. They live in cut into the mountains to a certain extent with little rock homes and people who live in the hills and people most homes there's not many which are built upward, but some are most are cut into things or built on top of canopies. It's different than I'm used to seeing. Yeah. People in other villages are very similar to us. In fact, we are not so diverse.
Hmm. So, you're not a diverse species, I guess.
Well, we are interested in it, though. We are curious about individuality. We don't really we see our we're learning to see ourselves more that way, but we don't really. We are also very cohesive and very warm, and there isn't much difference. There are differences, but not much.
So, does the body feel young or old?
It feels young, but it is 60 actually. It's not really. It's hard to say the years, but I'm I'm older, and it feels very youthful.
Hmm.
It feels very spry. It's nice.
So, you're an older person, but your body feels young. Is that right?
That is, yes. There are old people that are very. They can be very old.
Mm. And
They
how old do you feel?
feel 60s, but it is. Yeah, it is. It's, time doesn't make sense to our our years are different, of course.
Mm,
So I'm in the middle aged actually,
mm,
the best way of putting it.
yeah. So how long do people live in this community?
They can live and they do live very long. Some are they have lived like that's the thing. We live like really long time and we're curious what it would be like to not live so long
Mhm,
actually because we don't experience much other than what we do experience. But we also are very happy.
Beautiful. Now let's leave that scene and let's move forward to an important day in that life, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. We have now moved forward to an important day. What is happening and what do you see around you as you gather your bearings?
DYIM. We, yes, I'm speaking to an important woman, and also, so this is like different people who are who have a function in local areas, and there's a woman. She's she's going to make decisions. They're talking. We we have we know that we want to experience more, and we have seen we we can see we can we have the ability to dream very clearly what we do, and we know that there are beings with have capabilities beyond our imagination. We want them, but they will talk to us. We we don't know how to do this, but we are very interested because they have some stuff that we would like to know about. We need to know if we're contemplating opening communication to them, and we will. We want to know what they are about.
So, who are these beings?
Well, they're technology. They want to help us with our technology, and we want their help. They've offered to help us with learning their science,
Hmm.
which we do not know.
And what do
They're
these beings look like?
ugly. We don't want to let that be there. They're, they're, the action. They look to they're not exactly humanoid. Um, see like 4 legs, but they kind of could walk on 2 of them, and they have tails, and
Okay.
they have kind of interesting faces. They're sort of like sort of like, I don't want to say reptilian or bird, but sort of like, like very odd looking actually, and they have a lot of teeth. But
Mm,
but we don't want to say, oh, they don't look like us. We understand that they have that they we don't want to let this be a barrier.
mm,
We kind of don't like I don't like them, and most people don't. But, but we want to make the next step, and this is what we have been offered.
okay, so what do you mean by you don't like them and other people don't? Can you tell me more about that?
Well, we all look quite similar, and we are they're not at all like us. They're like different species from another planet. They are, and they have metal. They they can communicate with us actually telepathically, but they could do it through technology. And they could do many things. They've landed and they speak to us, and they talk to the council, and they want to they want to give gifts and show us some of their things, and we kind of know that this is a trick, but we kind of can't help it. We we really want to know what they have because we don't have it. We don't have
Mm,
anything close to it.
mm. So they offer technology, do they?
They do, and they do like well, for one, they could travel. We could travel in our dreams, but they could travel. Really, that's what we want to do. Really,
Mm,
we want to do it. That we want to travel to the places that we can see in our eyes. We want to know what that's like, and they could just do neat stuff,
mm,
and they could solve some of our. They could kind of help us with learning how to do simple things, even like how to make new clothes or how to make new building. We we've been living like simple people for so long, for like so long, and we know it's time to go on
mm,
the next thing. And this isn't. We don't know if this is it, but this is what we're gonna do.
mm. So what
Yeah.
makes you say that it's a trick? Is it a
Well,
feeling that you get?
yeah. Well, they just it's the thing. We don't want to become like them, but we want what they have.
Mm,
And we know that if you take what they have, then you may become like them.
yeah.
And that's the dangerous thing. But
Mm,
we know what they have, and they can teach us, and we could learn.
mm.
We think we could learn, maybe.
You think you could
We don't know.
learn
We're
from them?
kind of, well, they kind of make us feel bad. I mean, they make us feel a little bit small, actually.
Mm,
We don't feel bad, but we kind of look at them and say, look, we don't have, we can't do that.
mm.
They could help us, but tough decision. But
So what
we,
decision do you make?
well, we say, look, well, you guys can help educate our people. We don't want them intruding too much, but we
Mm,
want them to teach us how to craft, how they think about things. We want to understand their mental process.
mm,
It's very different than ours. We're not, we don't think like analytically. We do, but we don't think like they do. But they'll
Mm.
teach us. Yeah,
So, how do they think? Do they think differently to you?
they don't. We don't think they have a good connection to their environment.
Oh,
They're. This is why their bodies are a little bit disharmonious looking.
mm,
But there's a balance, and we see very clearly. I do, and we do that. We see that they're on one end of the balance, and we're on the other. So we know that this is how things can be at such a risk. But we know that this is we believe it's our destiny.
mm. I was about to say, feels like it's destined to meet each other.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
There, yes.
So, what do you give them in exchange?
That's why we are concerned. They don't want anything.
Oh,
They do. We don't know what they
oh,
and we know that they're a bit good at that. They may be tricking us.
yeah.
They want to learn about us. Actually, that's what they say. They want to learn how we live,
Mm,
and
yeah.
they want to explore our ways of living because they have realized. They say that they want to learn of their own roots. That's what they say.
Mm.
They want
And
to know where they came.
so, how do they do that? How do they observe and learn from you?
How they want to. They will educate some of us, and in that they will learn just by essentially educating us. They will also learn by just having the chance to interact with us.
Mm.
That's their logic, at least, and it's reasonable enough.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to tell me about this before we move on?
They have nice spaceships, or we don't really go inside too much. They're
Mm.
big. They land in the water though, and we want them to stay away from our water. We're very careful about where they can be
Oh,
because they don't. We know they don't really understand the environment.
mm,
We can be okay with that as long as they are willing to learn and, and are also willing to help us. But that is, I don't like that
so why don't you like that? Tell me more about that.
because they, some of us are too eager. I am interested, but some of us are quick to brush off our ways of doing things because of they're amazing.
Mm,
But that does not mean that we should allow them to their ships in our water. It's not a big deal, but it's not, you know, they don't care, but it's just so different than us. That's it.
mm.
It's just different.
It's just different to you, is it?
Yeah.
Mm. So now let's leave that scene and let's move forward to an important day, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. We have now moved forward to an important day, and you gather your bearings and look around. What is happening and what do you see around you?
We're all very excited by their technologies. We're learning very quickly, and we're we've changed quickly. We have changed very quickly. We can do. We can measure things. Simple as getting a bearing on our world and knowing measurements about things and the atmosphere and the weather, and learning about how we can even change the weather if we wanted to. We don't really want to, but it's cool that we could. And people are very interested and excited. They're learning so much. It's like it's like changed. It's been it's been a while. I'm in my village, and we just we're learning how to build better and and make things easier. People, we things are easy for us. We didn't do much, but now we kind of feel like we have more of a purpose,
mm,
and people are happy about that. And and well, we kind of what the people. Most people are very happy about this. Some
mm,
of us are conservative, I guess. We don't we don't want to change, but we understand that this is how things go,
mm,
and things are changing. And we're very interested in. They want to help us. They want to help us. They want to help us with our dreams of exploration.
mm.
That's exciting.
So you want to explore.
Yeah, yeah. We want to see the stars.
Mm,
We know we can't, but they're they're gonna help with that. But we know that we cannot survive everywhere.
mm,
So we would need to change our body a bit, but
mm,
to fit into new habitat.
mm.
That's okay. That's it's it's a bit of a strange thing, but we see that as okay.
And what do the elders in your village, what do they think about all of this new stuff that's taking place?
Well, they are really quite happy.
Mm,
They are because we have purpose. We say, look, we want to do more than just get around.
mm,
Now we are building. Now we are going to go to the stars, and and we're going to learn about all of those places we can see in our we dream these places. We dream of places, and now we may see them. It's very exciting. The elders are very. It's a focus of our culture at this time, and it is exciting. However, there is one issue in that they, they we will have to change some of our bodies
Oh.
or new habitats.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
and we get that's the facts. If you go to a place that's heavier, then you need to be bigger, or
mm,
so on and so forth. It's how things go. They they do it through they have they use machines and they have implants um, that helps them with some of that's a it's a technology they have. They can put these things in themselves and they can alter. Well, they can actually they can make them extra powerful. That's a strange thing. You know, but they can. That's strange. That's
so they
strange. It's they. Yes.
so they put these machines in their bodies, do they? And then they alter the
Yeah. It's
bodies.
yes. Yeah. They they're they can do it through various manipulations. Their
Mm,
bodies they are very old. Their bodies are odd, but they can kind of replace things, and they usually will they'll change things to make them more robust, and then they don't have to change too much to they don't have to change their body to go to a new planet. They could just go because they have technology that could help them. But we kind of it's not going to be our way. Interested in we are interested in changing our genes a bit,
mm,
but we'll change our body. We can do that. At least we. I don't know if we're changing our bodies or changing our actual bodies. It's unclear to me.
mm,
There is change necessary, and some of us are saying, "Okay, we'll raise our hand," and they're gonna do this, and then we could go to other places. And some places we don't need to do that actually. Um, there is an interest in this idea of changing the genetic structures a bit because we're kind of small
mm. So
and
you're a
we're
small people.
not small. Well, we're thin.
Mm,
We're not very robust.
mm.
It's not that
See,
we think that that's the best way, but wouldn't it be fun
mm,
to experience something different?
yeah. So your
Yeah,
bodies are thin over there, are they?
yeah, they're thin and don't know if they're short or tall, but they look tall in the sense that they're slender.
Mm,
We kind of wonder what it would be like big. We just kind of think that's interesting.
mm.
Yeah,
So what do you want to change your body to? What's exciting
I
for you?
I personally I don't. I'm excited for us, but I'm not so individually. I'm content. I was content before this, but I'm also happy that we're happy because we were kind of unsure about ourselves. So I'm I'm happy being me.
Mm, well, that's good. Is there anything else that you want to tell me about this before we move on?
That's
Okay, so now let's leave that scene and let's move forward to an important day, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. We have now moved forward to an important day in that life. What is happening and what do you see?
I'm traveling. Okay. I do it. Yeah, going. I'm not going far. I'm not going far. Going.
Pardon? What
Oh,
is it?
well, I'm on a ship. I'm on their ship.
Okay.
Well, they're moving us just to a new place, and
Oh,
we now have learned how to do the ships. So
mm,
they're. I guess it's not exactly our ship, but it's not exactly their ship.
mm,
But we're going somewhere else, so it's cool. The I'm other people have gone. I'm just gonna I'm migrating.
mm. Where are you migrating to?
It's it's a blue planet. It's not blue. It's quite pretty. It's totally different. It's blue. It's blue, but it's weird. Blue. Like the grass is blue
The
ish.
grass is blue.
Yeah, the grass is blue. I saw it. The grass is it's darker. It's a bit darker, but it's also not that dark. It's just yeah, it's pretty. Not a big planet, but it's suitable for us.
Mm.
Yeah.
So is there a few more others with you that decided to migrate here as well?
Right. Well, they actually I didn't go until other people went. So there's some colony.
Mm,
I'm going to move there with I guess it's not really family. It's just I guess we're all family now. That's how I feel. It's cool.
and why did you decide to migrate there?
As it um I think I'm old at this point. Well, I don't know if I'm old. That's tough for me to say because I just don't think we don't know how but I wanted to experience something new,
Mm,
and I see it as destiny in the sense that we can't stay in one place forever.
mm.
We have the opportunity to transform and change, and we are able to communicate with each other across planets. So it's okay. We feel safe because we can all stay together and
So,
we still feel connected even though we're going away.
mm,
Yeah.
so, so you can still telepathically communicate with the people on the home world?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Mm,
Yeah. We can. We know we sleep and we dream, and when we dream, we can all see each other still. So, what difference does it make where our body is, really? I mean, it's a bit odd, but yeah, we we still feel very close.
So how do you communicate with each other through the
Oh,
telepathy?
we could do this thing we always do, where we can, I would say sleep, but it's not so much. We project, we astral project,
Mm.
and we can. But it's weird. We kind of just pop in, boing, and we're with whoever we need to talk to, and we can uh, travel that way. And now we can physically travel too, and that's exciting because we can now touch the soil in a different place and learn about this new land. And that's the thing. We were able to go to other planets by just by by I guess by traveling in our astral
Mm.
or in something. We could see them. We couldn't feel them though,
Mm. And you
and
wanted to
we
feel
want
them,
to.
did you?
Yeah, like this blue planet. It doesn't feel like our home. It feels like more like well, it feels blue. That's one thing. It's not all blue actually. It's blue and where the trees are red. It feels like pleasant almost or something. I don't know where it is. It's hard for me to say, but it's not that far as distances, which could be vast.
Mm.
So
So what's life like on this new planet?
first, the animals are more like birds. There's more birds, and there's some like some kind of, I guess you call them a dinosaur. They're
Mm.
not. They're just different. They're different animals.
Mm.
They're they're different. Different.
Mm.
But it's hard for me because change is different and sometimes just takes a bit of getting used to.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
we're all together and we've built this, and our new colony is more technologic. It's more our structures are more like metal and things. We don't really need to build with the ground. We have some way about getting to build, but it's like, yeah, we're building more like not like our structures are separated from the environment to a bit, but well, we'll be careful. We're kind of building dome homes actually. They're kind of neat. They're
Okay.
all white domes.
Mm.
Yeah,
And you like living here?
it's different.
Mm.
I I do feel a little bit connected,
Mm.
but it's okay because I'm also learning and growing.
Mm.
Yeah, but I do worry because our has been the case. Our people, us, they're it's a bit too eager, and I am too. But it's like you don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh, let's go back. No, you go forward.
Mm.
Yes, it's nice. I have I do have there's a pond, and I seem to have I have loved ones, though I don't know how they're connected
Mm.
to me. But
Okay.
yeah,
So you have loved ones with you, like what you would call a family?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
it is different. We live a long time, so there's
mm.
not so many little children.
Oh, I
It's
see.
like sort of like like love like yeah, different.
Mm,
Well, normal for us actually.
yeah. Is there anything else you want to tell me before we move on?
No, well, yeah, that's it.
Now let's leave that scene and let's move forward to an important day, a day that you consider to be important when something is happening. We have now moved forward to an important day. What is happening and what do you see?
Mm, they we want we want something in our home planet
Oh,
in it. I've been waiting for this.
hmm,
I don't know if this is don't there's it's hard for me to understand if I'm in the same body or if I'm not.
hmm,
Um, but it doesn't matter because I can remember
hmm,
it all.
hmm.
And our people know, and we know that they've been scoping out, and there's something here they want. I
Oh,
don't know what it is. Well, see, our home planet has a very strong power,
hmm,
very strong power, and they really they like power. We know they like power. We understand power is useful.
hmm,
They love power. They love power,
hmm,
and they are saying, "Hey, we helped you do all this. Look at you. You've gone to the stars. You've learned all these things. You've we're like best friends. Like let us land and finally put our machines here. That's okay, right? Like we helped you." And we're no, it's not. It's not how. No, no. And the people who are there, who are stayed there, they're not going to have that. No, we're not going to let them. It's, they don't get it. They don't understand how to live in harmony, and they'll hurt our planet.
oh. So how will they
Yeah,
hurt your planet?
uh, simple it's as simple as cutting down the trees. The trees are living.
Hmm,
We know the trees, and it's as simple as that.
hmm,
They want, there's something in there that they think is there, at least. We've never seen it, but they think it's there. And they want to, well, they say they want to like, research it, but that's kind of vague. And it's almost like, like, yeah, no, you're not going to land there. You're not going to, they can't, we don't, it's tough because they have helped us, but we don't really want to let them build a colony on our planet, you know,
hmm,
because we know that they don't really, they can't do that. They don't know how.
hmm.
Yeah. And they just want to do research, but still, so we're not going to let them.
So what happens next?
Mhm. I, we actually checked it. So they can't take anything by force. I don't know why.
Mm,
We have a connection.
mm,
So they leave. They say, okay, fine. They don't say anything, really. They say, okay, goodbye.
mm,
And, but, actually, some of our people in other places are very frustrated because they also want to know about this power in the planet.
mm.
So they kind of, they want us to, they want them to, they're frustrated. There's a discordance between us and we can all feel it. Even though we're far apart, we kind of are all on different pages now.
Oh,
And, yeah, and our planet where I am at least is like, no, like we need to respect our home.
mm,
So we're there's a line that's been drawn.
mm.
And some of us say this is the next step, and other of us say, no, this is one step too far.
And so what happens next?
Yeah, here's yeah, we're going to we're coming, and we're quite a few groups, I guess,
Mm,
of us are also coming because we see they're coming, and so we should come. And you know, we got to be there. We got to know what's up. Something's wrong. So we're going to go over there, and we can get there quickly. Yeah.
so what's going on?
Well, we just seeing on the thing. Where's there? We killed the elder people quickly on the planet. The people helping run the planet home, and they're now going to destroy it. Yeah, I kind of hard to see actually because it's like I need to
So what's happening? What can you see?
like they're they're killing and they're having fun.
What's
Like they got
happening?
this new. They're killing them. They're kind of using their new technologies, seeing how much they could damage they could do. They're gonna exterminate us.
These
They're gonna kill us.
beings,
We don't. Yeah,
the
yeah. And
ones that
we're
The ones that wanted the power source from your planet?
Yeah. They killed the council, and now they're
Oh,
killing everybody else, and
so
they're raising it. They're
so
letting
describe.
their well, they have a terrible. They have these. They do have. It's like you have a ship and beams. I think it sounds terrible, like a and then it just goes. It just blows it up. It just blows up the stuff. It's like terrible. It's oh gosh.
So what are you doing at this
It's just
time?
I just thought well we're getting people out. They can't get out. It's like we're gonna get who we could get and then regroup for our home. And then we're going to decide what the next thing to do is. But it's just a matter of just like it's so hard because it's like we're trying to remain calm
Mm,
and help our people get out,
mm.
but it's unbelievable. It's just so I never could imagine that
So was this very
I could.
sudden for you?
It's very sudden for me. We knew something was going to happen, but that seems sudden. It seems like I don't know. It seems very sudden. It's also the amount of destruction is unfathomable to me.
Mm. So what's being destroyed? Can you talk me
Oh,
through it?
yeah, they go the villages and
Mm,
they just light them on fire, and some are landing and different ones of them.
mm,
Some of them have different kinds of weapons.
mm.
Some of them
What?
have some of them look different. There's different sorts of looking ones of them. They all kind of look similar. Like, oh, but they're killing people and taking some actually, like
Mm.
hostages.
Oh,
Yeah,
and and are they taking some for political advantage or to get you to do
yeah. Well,
something?
that's interesting. We don't know why they're taking them, but
Mm,
we imagine we don't really know why they're taking them. We know what they could do to them,
mm.
and that makes it very upsetting because they have their own interest in creating hybrids,
Oh,
I guess.
so they want to use your DNA, is that correct?
Yeah, they know our form is superior, not in the sense, yeah, our form is much more stable. Our
Mm,
we have a more we don't need artificial, but they know they could mix it and then they could kind of change their own forms to be more suitable also.
mm,
So and I think that's it. Yeah.
mm. So how do you get the people away from the danger?
Like I guess you'd call it a area of control. There's they got it's really, we don't have much, but we have some stuff.
Mm,
We could sort of go into an area and like put a field around it,
mm,
and that'll sort of slow them down. So we sort of going between the big areas where there's people and just kind of trying to do it, but it's so we don't have enough time.
mm,
They're so they have it.
mm. So tell me what happens next.
You know, it's just they want they are leaving. They we're leaving. We're
Mm.
evacuating, and
Mm.
there's just a burning planet.
Oh.
And we know that maybe some of us left, and that's the worst thing.
Mm.
Is we know we can't get them all. Yeah.
So your entire planet is burning, is it?
Yep.
Mm.
It's just
And
terrible.
and how are you leaving?
Um, we have ships.
Mm.
At this point, we on Blue Planet have much more technology than they do at
Mm.
home.
Mm.
Yeah, we have a can't see it all, but it's like a craft, I guess.
Mm.
It's like I don't. Uh, there's a way we can travel very quickly
Mm.
between planets, actually.
So will you
So yeah,
mm, where will you take all the refugees?
no, they're going. Well, they're going back to our planet.
Mm.
We are very concerned though because we don't know if they'll come for us next. We don't,
Oh.
it's not our business to a certain extent because we don't know what they're going to do, but we don't see why they would come for us besides
Mm.
us trying to do what's right.
Mm.
Will they, will they stop us? I don't know.
Mm.
But the issue is that now I can't see all clearly, but there's other places with us and they're not happy either, but they're kind of dependent, I guess.
Mm.
So they're kind of dependent on them
Mm.
for their own needs. So they don't really have a choice,
Mm.
unfortunately. You know,
So tell me what happens next.
we we have communication that just there's a line drawn.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we kind of we're going to communicate only with those of us who are able to move freely, and we need to be careful even about communicating with those of us, with the people on the other colonies. Mm, we don't know what will become of them, but we have reason to believe they may have been involved in this
Oh,
thing.
really? The
Yeah,
destruction of the home planet, were the people in the other
yeah,
colonies involved with this?
yeah, yeah. They're very, these people are, I guess some of them are part of our groups, but they're so changed. Again, I think that time has gone by, like sort of different looking now.
Mm.
They're,
So, what do they look like now?
well, on some planet, they're more, Earth climate.
Mm,
So they had to become larger,
mm,
as we kind of imagined, and more technology and more of that. They didn't really stick to the natural way of doing things because they wanted to experience
mm,
the more of the uh, concept of living.
mm,
However, that has made them very dependent on it, as we seek closer alignment with the environment. And we
mm,
don't live in a very hostile climate, so we look similar. I don't know if I almost say my skin is blue.
mm.
Actually, my hair is still dark, and I look similar to how I did look.
So your
My
body's
skin,
changed?
yeah, it's a bit blue,
Mm,
but and a little bit taller. It's just the small changes that we made somehow. I and you know
mm,
different. It's so weird because there's different, not as much of the family
mm,
concept. There is,
mm.
and
So what do you mean by there's not so much of a family concept anymore?
well, actually, in our home planet, we were all a family, and we remain like that. It's this conscious mind sort of is having a hard time wrapping his head around um, whether or not this is the same body or different body, or
Mm,
how they go about how we've gone about changing our bodies is unclear to me. And if we grow up, and I just have to let that be.
mm. Yeah, just let that
Yeah.
be. Just let it come the way that you see it.
But my body is blue.
Mm,
It is blue. I'll just let that be. It's
mm.
nice still, actually.
It's changed to blue, has it? So
Yeah,
you
it
still
feels
have the,
similar.
yeah, it feels similar, but you have
Yeah.
is it a new body or is it your old body that's just changed?
I think it's my whole body,
Oh, wow. Okay.
but I no, I almost think they could change the old body.
Mm,
Our bodies, you know, they are some ways to culture without trying. We don't really die unless we're killed, I think.
Hmm.
But
So you live on, do you?
suppose, yeah, that's why it's hard for me to understand
Hmm.
because there's not, children are very, very rare. It's not, we do have them, but there's like not many and we don't really decay,
Hmm.
really. But we do wonder if like the changings could change that.
Hmm.
As we
So
change our bodies, we don't
do
know
you,
if they're gonna remain so healthy.
hmm. So do you change your body through the technology that those beings had given you, or do you change it through your consciousness?
They we understand that we can change it through our consciousness. Their technology accelerates that tremendously.
Hmm.
Not a comfortable process
So what do
to
you
work.
mean by it's not a comfortable process? Can you tell me more about what the process is like?
No, they use their some injections,
Hmm.
I suppose, and then the body goes into stasis for like a long time,
Hmm.
a while, and then we pop back in,
Hmm.
and it's different, and it feels different.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
So is that what you did with your body to change it?
believe so.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a matter of integrating genetic material from a new planet into this one
Hmm.
body because body by itself is coded for one planet. So you need to take matter from beings in another planet, sort of create the right characteristics that would be comfortable.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So tell me what happens next.
live here, live here, and we we know eventually we know eventually they're going to come,
Hmm.
and we were preparing. But I live here, and I believe I decided that it's time for me to go back into reconvene.
Hmm.
I believe
So are you
decided it's time for
deciding
me to
to
pass.
leave? Oh, you're deciding to
Yeah,
pass? Okay. So
yeah.
we've gone forward to the last day of your life in this lifetime that we're watching.
Hmm.
What is happening
Neat.
and what do you see?
I'm on a stone slab, and I've fallen back into the light,
Hmm.
and I'm just that part will just go,
Hmm.
and I'll go back home. My true home. I haven't seen enough.
So what's your true home?
My go back into the light.
Hmm.
Just be there, sure. for as long as I need to be because I was so tired after all of this
mm,
that I just want to forget. I won't, but I want to leave it behind.
mm. So you decide to have a break?
A long break, maybe, but it's a break.
Mm,
It's just gonna be in the light, and eventually, it's like I'm meeting me, like I'm meeting me, but I'm just be in that. It's just very nice. And we know that this is where we go. I mean, when before I left,
mm,
we know where our destination is. It's like peaceful. But in this space, I'll be in the light with myself, and we can sort of look at how I don't want to think about another life after this one, but I
mm,
will.
mm,
It's just a matter of I had a long life, so now I have a long break,
mm,
and, and there's like other parts of me which will still have experiences.
mm,
Yeah, not me. I'm gonna stay in this place for a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to ask the conscious mind of Harrison to recede with much love and much thanks. And I ask for the higher self of Harrison to be brought forth now to use the body to speak through. And when you feel the higher self making its way into your heart, just let me know and then we can continue.
I'm here.
Wonderful. I know the subconscious or the higher self could have brought forth many different lifetimes for Harrison to see today. You chose to bring forth this life for him to see. Why did you pick that life?
There is a need amongst humans today to understand some aspects. Harrison, well, there are 2 points. Harrison desperately needs to feel that peace that is native to him and is native to all people. And seeing this life shows how that peace can be felt in all lives.
Mm,
Second to that, we know that people need to understand more aspects of their past so they could heal it in the future.
mm,
Harrison wonders about this, about seeing balance between opposites is
Mm.
something that he is keen at, and this life was a hallmarker in showing that wisdom.
Mm. In that lifetime, was Harrison from Lyra?
Yes, this is so it is in that direction. So
Mm.
yes, it is Lyra as people call it Lyra.
Mm.
Yeah,
And so it's in that general direction of that star system.
it is.
Mm.
It is the home planet for the primary lineage of humans.
Mm. So is that where humans came from in the universe?
We don't know. There is a mystery there as
Mm.
to we were we were created there, but whether or not our template comes from elsewhere or was created with us is not something it's a mystery
Mm.
for me.
So, so were the Lyrans the first iterations of humans in this universe?
They were the first iterations of humans in a very physical sense,
Mm.
not in a energetic sense. They were the first to experience this as far as eating fruit and building houses and starting a basic family in the village sense. These are
Mm.
things which are important for physical beings
Mm.
to understand.
Mm. So he was wondering also about the lifestyle and culture of the Lyran people. What can you tell him about that?
Well, it's a, it is peaceful. That is, he feels it. And it has not really any answer to that question because of their experience. The core, however, the fundamental beingness of the Lyrans was very peaceful, like very, very calm and tranquil and loving, and just so much like we just all knew we were one, even if we were separated, we knew it, and that was nice.
Mm.
And so we could say that the culture of Lyra is one that is within the knowing of being together as a people and being calm and peaceful. Of course, that is not that is only one aspect of the culture as it developed over time. It changed and it became much more, and that is a good thing, even though it is dramatic.
So as it changed over time and they formed different colonies, how did they change?
They they went in different directions. Some we could say universally that for a time they felt more separation,
Mm.
and some went further and further and further into that. Others, having had moved away from it over a long period, though it's all relative, had switched and had gone back toward an even stronger falling together in connection. However, they all grew in technological advancement and they all have become more wise by this experience.
So he was also wondering, what did they do on the daily? What did they do in their daily lives?
Mm. In their early times, they were they ate fruit. They explored their little planet, and they love exploring. And they are cat-like. They are not like like cats totally though. Like
Hmm.
there are some, but not. They are curious. They are exploring. They are cuddly, and they have fun. And
Mhm.
so there is energy that is cat-like to
Mm.
the old Lyrans, especially.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Harrison was also wondering about Lyran's uses of crystals or other technologies and practices. How did they use these?
Truth is that they actually did not initially really need crystals because they had strong crystals in their body
Mm.
that were effective enough for everything they needed.
Mm.
So they could connect spiritually through just their body and they could actually do many things which we would not understand because of the crystals in their body. So they did not use crystals, however, they did use wood in the sense that they could touch a tree and touch wood and connect it to the ground, and that could they could do that to meld their mind into the heart of the planet,
Mm.
and that just gave them a sense of peace
Mm.
mostly. Initially, we're not very inclined towards technology. And their philosophy was more or less clarity of understanding. They knew many things as well. They could dream of homes, their souls, and so they did not need technology, but it excited them
Mm.
primarily to travel.
So what was the fundamental goals of the Lyrans prior to the departure event?
It was to explore.
Mm.
They they knew they did not even have an idea that they could lose connection. So they and subconsciously were interested in in venturing outward, which they subconsciously knew would be a potential loss of connection. But that's okay in the sense that everyone goes home
Mm.
eventually. And it's okay to explore. Okay. There's a fear of exploring that has been passed down. And that is against human nature is to explore. and to have adventures. And that can be painful, but it is also beautiful to come and go, to leave the light and go and come back and say, oh, I saw this. I went to this place. And they're an exploring people.
So he also wanted to know what the causes of the departure event was, but did he see that in the lifetime that he was looking at?
Yeah, he saw. It's just a matter of greed, really. I mean, there's a higher wisdom. All of this, there's we are seeing one layer of this experience. There are higher layers to this experience. There are other there are other agendas at play to which we in those times were not privy to.
Mm,
And would be hard to understand them from a human perspective. So it's easy to understand the greed and the willingness, the goal was to traumatize, actually, the Lyrans. The goal was to traumatize them so that they would be vengeful
mm,
and they would continue in this path of destruction. And so maybe that's a higher perspective. And then the
mm,
higher perspective, the highest perspective, was to have experiences, to gain wisdom, and to grow. So that is the perspective of the highest. And in the middle, there is an element of seeking to traumatize so that we would lose our ways. And that has not happened because it will never happen.
And he wanted to explore the traumas experienced by that event and the wisdom on healing around those traumas. What can you tell him about that?
I think we have delved into, there's so many traumas within this experience.
Mm,
He says, oh, the fires. And in fact, that's the smallest trauma
mm,
of it. It's more about losing your family, your loved ones, not physically losing them, but losing them in the heart.
mm,
And this is what happened because this became a war, and this became a not even a war, but a disconnection,
mm,
and that's the biggest trauma.
mm,
And this is something that Earth is healing
mm. So we're playing
because
this
we're all
out right
here.
now.
Yes, we we've all come back. So weird. Yes, we are all here.
Mm,
Not all of us, but we're all back together, and we're very uncomfortable with each other, even though many of us were best friends before.
mm, mm. And how do we heal that within ourselves to come back together again?
Well, that is not an easy question to answer because it is something which perhaps no one, humans on Earth today, are deciding the answer to that question. truthfully.
mm,
That is one way of seeing it. It is a matter of course, you could say understanding who we are as souls. It's just that's the one that's basic is saying, look, we are all of the divine.
mm,
And then starting from there, starting from, okay, we think different, we are different, but we are from the same heart,
mm,
then that's the first step. But that's not an easy step for all people to take
mm.
because they don't even know they have a heart, truthfully.
So has Harrison healed anything that he needed to heal regarding his traumas today around that event?
Yeah. I think the understanding of the it's comforting to him to know that that's what we are doing.
Mm,
We are healing these traumas today.
wonderful.
Yes, we are humans are, and even talking about it will heal it. But this is a big, big, big thing with many traumas. So it could take a long time for some souls to heal from.
So he also wanted to know what the Lyrans' goals were with Earth. What are their goals at the moment?
This is so there's complexity to this.
Mm,
They, as to the Lyrans, developed, and some remained fundamentally the same. Others became Pleiadians. Others transformed and ascended and came back, and so the goals would differ depending on perspective of the individual. In the sense that anyone who says they're Lyran or has connection or is genetically Lyran or their soul comes from Lyra may have a different perspective on that.
mm,
But to answer, their goal is in the sense of Earth is like Lyra and has attributes in the strength of the planet. So it was decided through higher wisdom that Earth would become the potential place for healing that's experience and bringing everyone back together again.
So the
So that is the goal.
so the coming together of the circle, coming full circle
Yes,
around those traumas.
yes, and I would say this is the goal from a
Mm,
very high perspective. And so beings have come here over time and did not realize they were part of this experience,
mm,
but they were now we know, but it's not so clear, and not everyone is on board in the sense that many have gone the other direction,
mm,
and their collectives are quite happy being disconnected.
mm. So Harrison was also wondering about Lyrans on Earth or the existence of Lyran Earth human hybrids. What can you tell us about that?
It is uh, interesting. All humans are hybrids of Lyra because this is the basic form which was created here long ago, uh, mixing with the local animals, and then these Lyran. Truthfully, it's more it's various beings from, you could say, light planets who have come together here initially, and that attracted some of these darker ones.
Mm.
So this is a sort of a trick because they saw, oh, look, all this light's here, and they come. This is, which is okay because we accepted that we want to come together, or at least give them the opportunity to come together instead of
So,
having a war that could go on forever.
yeah.
You could come here and we could just watch this show and let
Mm.
people, let the souls experience it and have it on a big scale.
Mm. So he was wondering as well, do some Lyran beings exist on higher dimensional planes on the Earth?
Yes, there are. What Harrison wonders is there were in the early days. So, well, actually, not even that long ago, there were humans on Earth who had more Lyran connection and more Lyran lineage, and they, some of them, have ascended and gone to other planes and
Mm.
gone into the inner planes.
Mm.
But they're human from Earth.
Mm.
They have a there is a they're humans, but they have more of this core human template
Mm.
and connection, truthfully, because it's not all about the lineage. It's more about where the soul is as the soul rises in ascension. The structure of the being is much more malleable,
Mm.
and the lineage doesn't matter as far as genetics is concerned.
Mm.
Um, so much. It's more of a soul lineage, and that's why some of those beings who ascend may take on various forms, which would look different to us, because they could, in their ability to change.
So is that what humans are doing now with their ascension process?
It is. It is starting to happen because as we ascend, our DNA is not so fixed.
Mm.
Our we could use more of our DNA, change it to be more fitting to our soul consciousness
Mm.
and to our core essence.
Mm.
And so we actually may realize we look a little different sometimes than we're used to. And this is very, very subtle today, but it will become more noticeable. What you notice today is there is some variation in how people are aging. So some people are starting to live longer, and other people are starting to live shorter lives because
Mm.
they're not keeping up, and that's fine. That's totally okay.
Mm.
It's but it's hard. It's hard for people to see, but it's like the time. It's time to move on.
Mm.
Yeah.
And is that why why ascension is both a physical and spiritual term? Is that what he meant by that when he wrote it as his question?
Yeah. So it is it is also the planet.
mm,
And that in the past, I mean, maybe you would have to meditate, you would have to become very, very, very skilled in practice and be very strict and and maybe 1,000 years ago. And maybe you would gain some spiritual abilities because the energy was so dense. And now it's rising, 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 and it's not going to wait for us. It's there's help, which helps balance it. But as that goes, you go up with it, and then it doesn't have to be very fast. It's not like it has to be overnight, and you're people wish it was just, but it's it's like running a little race, and you just kind of and it's not really a race. But it's just a matter. It's a race in the sense that there is consistent effort is very helpful. However, most people already know where they're going. They don't know where they're going, but they've decided in a higher level
mm.
if they're going to stick with it or not.
And for the last question, how can people connect in with Lyran energy?
It is, um, it is the native energy for everyone,
Mm,
essentially. So it's simple as people will connect in with it over time as we will sort of look at integrating our relatively technological society into the earth and becoming harmonious with the earth. So you
mm,
can connect with it by connecting with the earth.
mm,
That is an easy way of saying it, as this is one. A second to that would be realizing there's a certain level of foreign energy floating around humans, and stepping away from that and beginning to understand it. So foreign energy would be, well, somewhat of a energy of being totally domineering and totally like disconnected from each other.
mm,
And this is something which many have adopted, but it is not core Lyran energy. Although all Lyrans had at one point or another experienced war. Everyone's experienced war. However, the willingness to go to war for gain is not really something that Lyrans would innately wish to do. It was something they traumatized and traumatized, and the fear causes that to take hold. Does that make sense?
yes, that makes sense. Is that why
Yeah.
he wrote down that spiritual around a question around spiritual growth needs for men today around the healthy integration of masculine energy?
It is. It is, and that is that is interesting because the masculine energy is more attuned to the some of this foreign interference. Like it's not such a binary, but it is to an extent in that men, the masculine energy is a bit more defensive
Mm,
and offensive. I mean, if it's scared.
mm,
And so what you're seeing today is a lot of men are pushing away and because they're scared.
mm,
And more women, not all, it's different for everyone, will come together when they're concerned and scared and see change. They understand this. And men see it as a threat. And so they'll create barriers. And this is a trauma, which men will, all individuals who have this, which is not just men and women, will slowly realize that they're kind of they've separated themselves emotionally from others and they're alone emotionally. And then they will start to open up emotionally and break those barriers back down. So there are many ways we can look at the masculine and feminine energy, but I would say the clearest is about the putting up of the emotional barrier as a defense mechanism,
mm,
because that makes you a strong warrior who will do what's necessary in the case of conflict. However, this is not really actually an issue on Earth today, and that your odds of dying in conflict from another person are extremely low, unless you happen to live in parts of the world where it is. But even then, it's for most people they're safe, and men would be wise to realize that they are fundamentally safe.
mm,
All people would, but this is a way of looking at it, at least.
mm. Do you have any closing messages for Harrison before we recede him back to his physical body?
It would be good for him to be practicing the connection, but but be happy with where you are in life,
Mm,
as you're on a good path. You're on your own right path, and you're on a path which will be very exciting for you, even though you kind of right now. That's fine because you're actually not stuck. It's just realizing that you're ready to take more steps. So keep taking those steps and smile as you do it.
mm. Wonderful. So we're going to bring your light body back to your physical body now. Just bringing your energy back to your physical form.